iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Dr. Roto, get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office, it's open, my friends. Man, the Chicago Bears win on Monday Night Football. They beat the Vikings in a game that absolutely surprised me until I watched it. When I watched the game, there was no surprise at all. And I'll tell you why. First of all, Jay Cutler played better than I thought. But I knew he could do it. Jay Cutler is crazy. We know he's grumpy cat, but he has ability. And Jay Cutler was mobile enough to get out of the pass rush for the Minnesota Vikings. His mobility helped him make some really good throws, which he can make. So he goes 20 for 31 for 252 yards and a touchdown, and I thought played very well. And there were points there where he actually looked excited. I was shocked too. Yes, I know. Jay Cutler excited. Who knew? Give it up for Jordan Howard. 26 carries, 153 yards, and a touchdown. There was no Kadeem Carey sighting, no Jeremy Langford, no hot hand. Jordan Howard was the man. He had a 69-yard run. If he had a little bit more speed, it would have been a touchdown. Zach Miller played very well, 7 for 88. Alshon Jeffrey, 4 for 63 and a touchdown. Cameron Meredith disappointed us yet again, 1 for 24. I still like Cameron Meredith, but he's going to have some stretches where it's going to be like this. We can't rely on Cameron Meredith. We can like him, we can like the ability, but we can't rely on him. Specifically because Jay Cutler doesn't know him. But here's what didn't surprise me. Sam Bradford in the Minnesota passing game is not very good. I was not surprised by that. And you can't win in the NFL when it's 3rd and 4 and you're handing the ball to Matt Asiata. You have to throw the football. If you can't throw the football, you can't win. It is simple. Sam Bradford, 23 for 37, 228 yards and a touchdown. And I got to tell you, it wasn't nearly that good. I mean, that sounds better than it was because what you watched was disgusting. Stephon Diggs looked good, 8 for 76 and a touchdown. Thielen was barely involved. Kyle Rudolph, 5 for 31. Patterson, 3 for 36. Thielen, 3 for 40. Asiata, 14 for 42 rushing and 2 for 36. But, I mean, Norv Turner has to make better play calls. You have to throw the football. This game was terrible. Who enjoyed? If you're outside of people who are Bears fans, could anybody have enjoyed this game? I don't think it's humanly possible. I think it was terrible. Seriously, that was a terrible game. Kudos to Jay Cutler. Kudos to Jordan Howard. Great job, Zach Miller. The Vikings better figure it out and quickly, because it was putrid. All right, so now, basically, this is like 3 a.m. in a bar, what we do here on Tuesdays. You know what we do at a bar at 3 a.m.? We comb for loose change. That's right, we comb for loose cash. You go around the bar and you're like, oh, let's see. Oh, I see a quarter here, 50 cents there. And by the end of the night, you made some money because you're just trying to pocket the loose change that falls out of people's pockets when they're too drunk to remember where it goes. Here, I'm looking for loose change. That's what this podcast is on Tuesdays. Where can I find some? Now, we are going to talk about this today. We are going to talk about this tomorrow. This week is absolutely the worst week of fantasy football quite possibly that I've ever seen. Who's on bye? The Texans. Lamar Miller. DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe Will Fuller. CJ Fedorowicz. The Patriots. Some guy named Tom Brady. LeGarrette Blount. James White. Edelman. Hogan. Gronk. Bennett. Arizona Cardinals. Palmer. Johnson. Fitz, J.J. Nelson, John Brown, the Bears, Cutler, Jeffrey, Howard, Miller, Cameron Meredith, the Skins, Cousins, Crowder, Jones, R. Kelly, Jordan Reed, Deshaun Jackson, Cincinnati, Andy Dalton, A.J. Green, Tyler Eifert, Brandon LaFell, Jeremy Hill, and Giovanni Bernard. That may be the longest list. Forget all the kickers. Forget all the defenses. On top of that, right? Gostkowski, Dustin Hopkins, Nick Novak. This is a mess this week. If you're putting up 120 points this week, you did something really special. You did. You did something really special because this is an ugly, ugly week. Ugly. All right? So let's comb the bars. Let's comb the box scores. Combing the desert for all you Spaceballs fans. All right. For Jacksonville, I don't know who Ben Koyak is, but the guy had 5 receptions. I'm a little bit more interested in Ben Koyak today than I was yesterday. He's the tight end, the backup tight end. I don't really like him, but last week against Tennessee, he got 5 receptions. Julius Thomas had 3, and Mercedes Lewis had 4. I guess if Chris Ivory's there, I'll be desperate enough to try to hope he gets a touchdown this week, but I pretty much hate him. For Tennessee, I don't even know what to tell you. I mean, maybe Kendall Wright if he's out on somebody's team? Maybe. I mean, it's pretty lean right now. Washington and Cincinnati are out as we discussed. Kansas City, Charkandrick West may in fact be the number 1 pickup this week. What is the world coming to when Charkandrick West is the man? Seriously. That's where we are. Maybe Nick Foles, but I think Alex Smith plays. Tyreek on Fleek Hill. Chris Conley. These are names of guys who can help us this week. Tyreek Hill is going to be a very big pickup. I don't like him, but he's a big pickup. Let's look at T.Y. Hilton. Philip Dorsett, if somebody cut him, let's bring him back out. We might need him. Oakland and Tampa. The Quiz, Jaquiz Rogers. I would say effectively out on Thursday. Anton Smith, Peyton Barber. Those are the 2 names there. Barber's the bigger back. Smith has more history with Dirk Cutter. I think I'd lean towards Smith. Maybe Jalen Richard was cut in your league. Maybe Jamiz Olawala. Say that one a few times fast. I mean, that's what we're looking at. 2 receptions, 69 yards. He had a one play 68. I don't know. I mean, what? Ooh. Seattle and New Orleans. CJ Procise. I think that was more game flow. Kristen Michael is going to get way more than 10 carries this week against the Bills. Way more. But maybe Jermaine Kearse, maybe Paul Richardson. Those guys are of interest. Tim Hightower. I think that's a mess there in New Orleans, by the way. And I know that Sean Payton's like, well, everybody's going to get involved. I don't know, man. I don't trust it. But I guess I want a piece of Tim Hightower and maybe Danny Lasco. I mean, Jason Braddock said on Sunday night, instead of paying $100 for Hightower, how about $1 on Lasco? I don't particularly like it. I think I'd take $1 on John Kuhn and hope he gets a touchdown. I think that's where I'd probably do my $1 instead of Daniel Lasco. That's just me. Detroit, Houston, Houston's out. Detroit, maybe Zach Zenner, but see, this is a tough one. You see Riddick, Ebron, Tate, Jones, Bolden. They're owned. Everybody's got them. Jets, Cleveland. Maybe the Jets are a place. Robbie Anderson, Sharon Peak. Those 2 guys, they're not very good, but they'll be available. And then, of course, maybe Andrew Hawkins. Maybe, but Cleveland was playing from behind. Remember, a lot of this is dependent on game flow. Andrew Hawkins goes 5 for 31. So here's what you need to know. Andrew Hawkins goes 5 for 31, right? Because they were behind. If they're not behind, then Andrew Hawkins is going like 1 for 3. And you just put on 1.3 points on your team. How's that helping you? Seriously, how is that helping you? Maybe I might look toward Buffalo. Jonathan Williams had 5 carries last week. Brandon Tate maybe gets a reverse. I don't know who Walter Powell is, but maybe Nick O'Leary can catch one in the end zone. I'm not loving it. Seriously, I'm not loving it. Carolina, Fozzie Whitaker might be there. But they were winning. They didn't need Fozzie Wazzie. They didn't need him at all. Ted Ginn? Corey Brown? I mean, this is what we're looking at. San Diego and Denver, maybe Kenneth Farrow, Dontrell Inman. But I think this is a game that they're going to be leading. And if they're leading against the Titans, they won't need this. I think Capri Bibbs is interesting. He's Devontae Booker's backup. And maybe Virgil Green is playable. I think he goes 3 for 50. I mean, that's 8 points. I mean, this is called the bottom of the barrel. Aaron Ripkowski, I bet you, goes for $50 in a league. Not by me, but Jeff Janis. I mean, what if Ty Montgomery and Randall Cobb are out? I mean, I guess Jeff Janis is worthy. There you go. Pen click on that one. How about Austin Hooper as the new tight end there this week for Atlanta? He might be interesting. Teron Ward. It's a Thursday game. Let's get all the information we can possibly find and ask ourselves, is Tevin Coleman going to play this week? If he's not, then Teron Ward is certainly worth 5 or 6 points. I mean, I'm telling you, and we'll go through it in just a second. This is a tough week. Ryan Matthews is going to lose his job. Maybe Kenyon Barner is worth something. Sproles. I still like Wendell Smallwood. Green Beckham. I mean, what are we looking at here? Lucky Whitehead? Could you imagine Lucky Whitehead making your roster? Seriously, has it come to that? Has it come to Lucky Whitehead? Now let's find more plays. Let's look at the schedule this week, right? Let's look for the schedule and see what's going on. So, let's see. The Rams, Miami, the Giants, the Steelers, the 49ers, and the Ravens are back. So for the Rams, right? These teams are playing this week who didn't play last week. Brian Quick, maybe. Benny Cunningham, yeah. Damian Williams, in case Ajayi has to sit out, for a play. Kenny Stills, Nash and Young. Paul Perkins. Will the Giants include him more? I hope so, because I'm tired of watching the Rashad Jennings experience. That's putrid. Pittsburgh, Big Ben practicing again. Maybe makes Eli Rogers and DHB more relevant. San Fran, I expect Carlos Hyde back. How about Baltimore? Is this a Kenneth Dixon week? I don't know, but I know it's really rough out there. It's really rough. So let's look at the schedule. Atlanta and Tampa. It's a good game. But, I mean, there are injuries we have to deal with, especially Tevin Coleman. We know that Austin Hooper is going to play. So if I want to get some early points, he might be a guy that I have my eye on. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I want to know about Ben Roethlisberger. Is he coming back or not? Because if Landry Jones is there, I don't want Eli Rogers. If Ben is there, I do. Once again, about Baltimore, is Kenneth Dixon the guy or is Terrence West the guy? They want to get Dixon more involved. They had the bye week. Will it happen? I don't know. Dallas at Cleveland. This is game flow. Dallas should control this football, but if they fall behind because their defense is bad, I don't know. Do we see Corey Coleman's due back too? If Corey Coleman's back with Pryor and Barnage, Andrew Hawkins is a 0. He's like less than 0. He's like sub-0 for all you Arnold Schwarzenegger fans. New York at Miami. I gave you Damian Williams. I mean, Ajayi can't run for 200 yards every week, can he? Certainly against the Jets. I'm not saying he's a good play, but maybe he gets 2 catches for 20 yards and 1 rush for 20, and now you got yourself 5 points. I mean, we are literally digging for dollars here. We are combing the bar. And I'm looking for a nickel and going, wow, that's pretty good. Normally when I'm combing the bar at 3 a.m., I want $1. I want 20. I don't want a dime or a nickel. That's what we're looking at here. These players are all dimes and nickels. Charkandrick West is the best player I've named. The best player I've named. Crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. So we will continue to talk about these players tomorrow. We will. But I want to raise something in this podcast. And we're going to be raising this. I've already raised this on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. But we're going to raise it more over the coming weeks. And I want you guys out there, this is not just a pump up and a boon for Scout and to knock our competition, but I really want you to think about what I'm saying here. Okay? Really want you to think about it. One of the things I've always said about Scout Fantasy that I've liked is when we had Tommy G, I always said Tommy G is not playing in the same competitions as you. So when Tommy gives you advice, Tommy's playing $300 and higher entry fees. Most normal people are not. We're doing $3 in a dream, 10, 25, maybe if we're lucky, and our wives don't know, maybe 100, right? We're not dropping $333. So when Tommy gave you advice, you knew he could give you the advice because he wasn't competing with you. Tommy wasn't worried about you taking his money because Tommy was playing with far fewer people. At Scout, now that Tommy's gone, Sean Childs and Derek Pearson and some of our other bigger players, they do the same thing as Tommy. They're not playing nickel and dime games, right? They're not doing $3 donkeys. $3 in a dream, they're not doing it. They're doing the high stakes. Because the way to make money in daily fantasy is to play high stakes and have less competition. Hard to win with 136,000 of your closest friends. What a lot of these expert people are doing, and a lot of these DFS services are doing, they are giving information to the masses. And then they're competing in the same leagues as the masses. So, and I said this is not the first time I've said this. Anybody who listens to me on the radio knows I've said this before. When Max Delory or Sahil Sood or whatever we want to call him today gives you plays and he's in the $3 in a dream, do you think he's playing the same plays he's giving you? Would you do that? Would I give you the same plays that I'm playing on my own team? I'll give you some of them. I can't give you all of them because you're playing in the same league. Now, if I was in a different league, then I could do that. So think about it. Please use your common sense. When you sign up for products where they're giving information to the masses, everybody has access to the same information. And the people giving you the information aren't using their own information. They're going contrarian. So they're telling you to play Matt Ryan and they're taking Aaron Rodgers. How's that good for you? Do you understand what I'm saying? I feel very strongly about this. I think people are getting taken. And I'm not saying people are doing it maliciously. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. I can't prove that. I can prove that people are trying to give you a good product. That I'll agree with. But if they're in the same league as you, we can't all be playing the same teams. That doesn't make sense. So please, when you sign up for a product, make sure it's transparent. Make sure it's on the up and up. Make sure when I give you some visionary plays, I don't tell you my roster. I don't optimize it for you. I give you a bunch of guys I like, and then I make you put it together. That's how you learn how to win. That's how you get smarter. So please, be smart with your money. Be smart where you take your advice. This means a lot to me. My credibility and your faith in me and what we do at Scout Fantasy is very important. And to that end, I'm very excited that Adam Ronas is joining the team at Scout Fantasy. It's great to have Ronas with us. He is absolutely one of the best players in the industry and one of the best guys in the industry. So he and I used to work together for a few years. It's great to have him with us here at Scout. And I know you're going to enjoy reading and listening to him and following his info. Because if you want to win, I always say this. When Adam and I both agree on a player, lock it in. We don't always agree, but when we do, it always hits. All right, guys, time to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. We're back tomorrow with Waiver Wire Wednesday. We'll break down these pigs. We'll try to figure out how much to pay and how much not to overpay. All right, be well, take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!